I'm Bobby Blair, and let's queer up trans rights. Idaho law mandates schools, doctors to report trans youth to parents within 72 hours. A new law in Idaho is drawing national attention after Governor Brad Little signed legislation requiring educators, healthcare providers, and childcare workers to report transgender identity disclosures by minors to their parents within 72 hours. The measure, titled the Pediatric Secretive Transitions Parental Rights Act, takes effect in July. It applies broadly, covering not only medical care, but also social transitions such as changes in pronouns, names, or access to gender-aligned spaces. The law allows parents to take legal action against individuals or institutions that fail to comply, with penalties reaching up to $100,000 per violation. Idaho State Senator Carl Bjerke and State Representative Bruce Skaug said in a joint statement that the law will reinforce the fundamental rights of parents and guardians to oversee the medical and social upbringing of their children. However, medical professionals have raised concerns about the absence of safety exemptions. They warn that mandatory disclosure could place some young people at risk in unsupportive environments. Speaking to the Idaho Capital Sun, Idaho physician Dr Jessica Rolynn said, "Not every home is safe. This bill contains no mechanism for safety assessment and no allowance for clinical discretion." The law is part of a broader wave of policies in Idaho affecting LGBTQ individuals, including restrictions on bathroom access and pride displays. I tell you what, I would be nervous if I was a kid and I disclosed that I had a problem or I was dealing with something that I was being made fun of. And maybe I felt I was transgender, because at 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, it's hard to really know for sure what's happening with your body. And to have to go home to a mom or dad that might be really against it, and they're really going to church a lot, and they're going to not feed me, they're going to put me in a closet, they're going to treat me bad, they might whip me and beat me, they might threaten to put me in conversion therapy. I think that these families should be vetted before they turn the kids back into the homes or to tell the parents. I just think I'm concerned that there's a lot of parents in middle America and everywhere really that would not take that news very well, and those kids are not in a safe environment.
Yeah, this isn't protection. This is freaking surveillance. This is what that is, basically, you know? And like Bobby said, not all homes are safe homes for a transgender kid. So I'm also feeling for the teachers that don't get paid enough, nowhere near, okay? And the healthcare, the healthcare folks that are afraid that they'll lose their license if they don't report this poor kid that's coming to them with trust.
$100,000.
You know, I mean, come on. Like, this is just, go. What were you thinking, Alex?
I'm just thinking, well, one, as a former substitute teacher whose parents were teachers, like, I have seen more than one horror story with how parents have treated kids for being queer and for not for being queer. But also, like, this is not about safety. This isn't about threats. This is about deliberately trying to put trans kids into harm's way. And I'll be honest, like, if this, when we see like any absurd law like this with cis people, you'd see doctors refusing, and this is an example of just and unjust laws. And if you are going to be willing to obey that law and knowingly put a trans kid in harm, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I don't care how much money they want to take from you. It's not worth it. You have a soul. You should know better, people. Come on.
You say $100,000 per violation. That's blood money. That's what it is. Plain and simple, it's blood money. And blood is most definitely going to be on the hands of every single person who voted for this and the governor who signed it. Every year we go to Trans Day of Remembrance, or TDOR. And one of the most moving parts is the reading of the names of trans people who were killed in the last year strictly for being themselves. And there's a picture of every single one of them on the background behind them. And pretty soon, we're going to start having kids on that background. Kids are going to die because of this. And I would encourage everyone to peacefully find every legislator who has voted for this. Protest outside of their homes, scream at them when they're on public sidewalks, and make it uncomfortable for them to go anywhere, including a general restaurant. Because the amount of scrutiny that they're putting these kids under is reprehensible, and they should face at least something similar to what they're putting these kids through. They are vile, they are vengeful, and I hope nothing but the worst for them.
Follow them to the bathroom. Follow them into the bathroom and make them feel uncomfortable for this horrible, horrible nature of treating these kids. And more people should be really uproared over this, all right? Because like you said, kids are going to die. And if it's not by somebody else's hands, it will be by their own.
And that's the biggest problem. That is
the worst part
that is the worst part.
Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.